Hi there, my name is Miss Townsend and I love math. Welcome to Math with Townsend. This video is for grade 11 students in functions and relations who are working on the year-end summative, and it's question number 17. Suppose you lend a friend money so that you can take a trip to Montreal. Your friend agrees to pay you $500 in 6 months. 1 month later, your friend offers you $450, saying that you could invest the $450 at 5.5% per year, compounded monthly, which would be more than the difference. Is your friend correct? What might you consider when deciding to accept this offer? So obviously this is a financial math question, so let's look at our financial equations. Um, so it's $450 that we want to invest for 5 months because it's supposed to be a 6-month loan to my friend. But a month later, he says, here, take some of the money, invest it, and it'll end up being the same amount. So this $450 is going to sit in an account for 5 months, and we want to see if that would be equivalent to the $500 I should have got at the end of that period. So I'm not doing any sort of regular payments. What I'm doing is I'm putting a lump sum into the account, I'm letting it sit for 5 months, and I'm checking to see what it's worth at the end of that time. So this is the equation I need to use. It's one investment over time. Okay, so here's what I want. I want to know the future value of depositing $450 into this account. So I know that the account earns 5.5% and it's compounded monthly, and it only sits there for 5/12 of a year. Um, so, so what I've done here in my exponent is it's sitting there for 5/12 of a year. So that's why I put 5/12, and then times 12 is because it's compounded monthly. So just in case that's confusing, let's see. My exponent, let's say that it was there for 7 years. If this amount was in the account for 7 years, my exponent would be 7 times 12 because it's 7 years, and compounded monthly means 12 times a year. So no matter what, I want to do times 12 to represent 12 times a year. But in this case, it's not in there for 7 years. It's in there for this much of a year. So 5 months is 5/12 of a year. So certainly I could have just put exponent 5, but again, I'm trying to show you in general how to do a question like this, not necessarily this specific example. So it's 5/12 of a year. So this is what happens every year. And because it's monthly, I have to multiply by 12. So yes, it's going to end up being just exponent 5, but this way I'm sort of addressing a more general statement about using this formula. So this is what we have. Oh, I've lost some of my numbers here. That was 5.5%. So again, the present value of the money I'm going to deposit is $450. It is growth, and the growth rate is 5.5%, but that 5.5% happens every month. So in 1 year, it happens 12 times. So I take the annual interest rate and divide by 12. And again, we've already talked about that exponent. So let's do these calculations and see if this equals the $500 that my friend was supposed to give me. So when I do the calculation of 0.055 divided by 12, and then I'll add 1, I get 1.004583. 4583. And we've already discussed that this is just going to be in there for 5 compounding periods, in other words, 5 months. So if we just do order of operations, it's 450 times. So I need to do the exponent first. So 1.004583 to the exponent 5, and then multiply that by 450. I will have this much money in the account, $460.41. So, is your friend correct? No, my friend is not correct. In 5 months, I will have only earned $10.41 extra on the $450. So the $500 he's supposed to give me is actually going to end up being only $460.41. So, is my friend correct? No, that's the math. What might you consider when deciding to accept this offer? So I'm not sure what your teacher would want you to say here. Probably some sort of mathematical answer like um, consider the fact that maybe you should leave the money in the account and let it sit there and collect interest longer because apparently you had $500 lying around to lend to your friend anyway. So maybe it's good to start an investment account instead of lending money to your friends. And that's, the other thing I would say that's non-mathematical is don't lend money to your friends. You might also consider the fact that, if you accept the $450 from your friend, that might be better than waiting and not collecting $500. So to save your friendship, maybe this is a good idea. The other thing to consider is, why are you friends with someone who can't do math? Ha 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 ha. No, no, no. Even people who can't do math deserve friendships. Um, but those are things to consider. Anyway, that's the entire question. So short video. I hope that was helpful.